Hello people of the internet and welcome to today's YouTube video. So basically for the past 2 weeks I've been doing this series here on YouTube, right? Where I've been trying to get as good as possible, as quickly as possible on doing freestyling in Rocket League. Now doing this I've spent a lot of hours in free play and workshop maps and training packs and 1v1s as a person that's trying to do freestyling has to do. And along the journey I've learned a lot of cool tips here and there that I wish I knew when I first started out. So, to stop other people that are trying to do the same thing as me from needing to spend a billion hours to find out these 3 to 5 things that makes doing freestyling 10 times easier, I thought I'd tell them to you in this video. So here we go. 5 tips that you have to know before you start freestyling. So the first really important thing to know is how the ball works on the wall. It's quite simple, really. The higher you go up the wall with the ball before hitting it off, the more straight up the ball will go. So let's say you're doing an air dribble. What you want to do is hit the ball early on the wall because you want the ball to go in the direction of the goal, like this. But if you're doing something like a ceiling shot and you want the ball to go up to high into the air, and not like very much towards the goal because you're going to catch it and shoot it in the goal yourself. You want to go higher up the wall so the ball goes up to the ceiling like this. And you get a ceiling shot setup. And you also, when you get a bit more advanced, you want to go even higher for that. And that, if you're trying to do ceiling pinches. Well, I'm not that good at ceiling pinches yet. I'll throw up a clip of me doing one. Not amazing, but I'm still working on it. But just remember, guys, the higher you go up the wall before hitting the ball off, the more straight up it will go. So if you want the goal to go towards the goal when hitting it from the wall, you need to hit it early. If you want the ball to go just up to the ceiling so you can set up a ceiling shot, you need to hit it later. So just remember, the higher up you are on the wall, the more straight up the ball will go. Now, it's no secret that doing freestyling craves a lot of boost. So very often when you're just chilling in free play, you'll have infinite boost on, and you don't really think about it. But I'm telling you, when you go into games, and maybe if you don't pay attention to your boost when playing games, you'll probably miss out on like 50% of your freestyle plays, because you'll finally get involved to air dribble. You go for it, boom. Oh no, you only have 20 boost, and then you can't do more than that. So another really important thing to know when you're doing freestyling is that you probably need to have your boost management a bit more on point than other people do. Like, if you're a normal average player, all you basically want to do with boost management is just make sure you have some boost here and there. But if you're doing freestyling, you need to make sure on your boost management that you have enough boost to do a freestyle. When you're gonna do a freestyle, which can be really hard at first, but when you get used to it, it's kind of just something you do subconsciously. Now, a training exercise I like to do to practice this is doing wall tours, but I have to grab the 100 boost and then get back into doing the air dribble again. This is a very typical situation that will happen when you do freestyling. Other things I also do is you can just drive around on the field collecting boost pads. And when you start getting the hang of it, just driving around collecting boost pads, knowing where they are, you can start doing it, but also hitting the ball at the same time. Just randomly smacking the ball, letting it bounce like 2 or 3 times, and then smacking it again. And while collecting as much boost as possible to help you collecting boost and looking at the ball at the same time. Now, the third tip is a really basic tip, but a really important one as well. And that is when you're learning freestyling, don't try learning too many things at once. Try working on learning like 3 things at most, because some mechanics take hours to learn, some take days, some take weeks, and some of them even take up to months to years and still haven't been perfected to this day. So if you're trying to learn air dribbles, you shouldn't go around like practicing flip resets and ceiling shots and all these type of things first. You should focus on air dribbles. I can tell you from experience, it's way more rewarding to focus on like one specific mechanic and getting to know how to do it properly than knowing how to do like 10 different mechanics, like kinda 1 out of 10 times. So learning certain freestyle mechanics do take a lot of time, which makes it really tempting to be like, no, I want to do this now, and I know I want to do that. To be honest, if that's really what you want, you should do it, because the most important thing about freestyling is having fun. And if you're not having fun doing freestyling, you're not doing it properly. But you should try sticking to one mechanic, or like a minimum or maximum of 3, and perfecting them, or learning to do them like decently enough so you can do them in game before you start moving on to trying a bunch of weird crazy stuff and only know how to do like 3 mechanics and have like 15 mechanics you can do 1 out of 10 times. Now the 4th tip is expanding your setup knowledge. What I mean by this is that all type of freestyles have a specific setup. Like, let's just use Walter as an example. All you have to do for Walter is go to the wall and into the air, and then of course yada 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 ba ba da ba da, score the air dribble. But the thing is, if your setup knowledge for Walter is you can only do it if you get the perfect setup from the middle of the field and only off of the right wall, if you're playing games, it's a very low chance of you getting that setup from the middle of the field. Like, if you can only do wall to air dribbles, if you get that certain situation, you should start expanding your knowledge of wall to air setups by learning how to do them from the corners, or do it from your own field all the way over to the enemy's goal. Because either you're never going to be able to pull off an air dribble, or you're always gonna mess it up when you don't get the perfect circumstances. So basically just take your favorite freestyle mechanic, or whatever mechanic you're working on at the moment, and learn how to do the setup for it in as many places and in as many ways as possible to be able to do it as many times as possible. Because the more setups you can do, the more freestyles you can do, and the more freestyles you can do, the better. The 5th and final tip is take a break every once in a while. This is gonna sound weird, but if you try practicing way too much, you will kind of like overheat. I don't know how to explain it. You will just overheat and overcomplicate things. Like, I had that when I was trying to learn the wall to air dribbles with arrow left. I was practicing it non-stop, not making that much progress. I took a 5-day break from Rocket League, came back, and then I was suddenly able to do them. So sometimes all you need to learn a mechanic is to take a break from it a while, and then boom, you've gotten some days to let your brain more comprehend how the mechanic works, or just giving your brain a bit more of a break from grinding too much, and then you can suddenly do it. So that's about it. Tip 5, sometimes you have to take some breaks to improve on your mechanics. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully 1 or 2 of these tips is something that you can implement to your game to make you better at freestyling. And if this video helped out, share it with somebody else that you think could have a good experience or learn something good from watching this video. And like and subscribe and stuff in the bottom of the video if you've watched for this long. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for the support. Hopefully you learned something. And goodbye.